Hello, my name is Ariane and this is my hairline surgery journey. So in this video there will be parts where I explain how the system works, how they extract. So if you do not like descriptions of how a surgery is done, there will be no visuals. But if you do not like the descriptions of such, please watch to your own discretion, or feel free to skip a little bit ahead when you don't like what I'm talking about. Before you start the surgery, you go back 2 weeks prior. You need to stop taking medicine, I think birth controls, supplements, anything that could interfere with how your body works. So make sure you're eligible to this kind of stuff. If you can't stop taking a specific medicine, you need to consult with them specifically on that. In my case, everything was fine. On the day prior, you need to fast 4 hours before the surgery, remove all jewelry, make sure you don't have new piercings, because then that would be quite sad, wouldn't it? And then also nail polish you need to be removing. Another fun fact is you actually have to dye your roots if you have a lot of white hair, or if your hair is very light, bright, because they need to be able to see it. Makes sense, but you wouldn't have thought about it unless I tell you. I'm telling you. If you are very curious about the specific details of what you're supposed to be doing in that specific clinic prior to the procedure, I will put the little list roughly translated down there. Okay, so let's dive in. In that first video, it's December, so it's pretty cold in the room. In South Korea, even in high-end areas, they will not heat at night. So if you come up really early, like the first in the morning, everything is going to be freezing.
My hair.
You can have a look at what my hair looks pre-procedure. So what you can see in this video is I have had my hairline basically drawn. Basically they draw those lines and you have a few layers. You can see that the red parts are where they will add hair among the already growing baby hair. So they will shave that part and add new hair around that area. You have the front part, or where they will add baby hair that did not exist. At the back, the other line is where they will add thicker hair. And at the very end is where they will add a thicker hair that will actually grow through what was already there, but thinning. When you get in, they give you 2 types of treatments right away. One of them is a warm red light. They call it laser. It looks like the heating lamps that you have in restaurants to keep the food under the pass of the food tray. Have tanning goggles. They just give you a blanket, because remember it was cold, and then you just wait there for a half hour. The second one was actually kind of obnoxious. It was a laser to stimulate growth. So what happened, it was like tiny little prickles all over the head for only 15 minutes, but think you have tiny little needles doing that for 15 minutes. And at the speed of somebody typing on a keyboard, So the first thing you do when you arrive in the surgery room, well, first they give you clothes to change into, fancy warm pajama pants, you'll see the video, and then a white t-shirt, a clean white t-shirt that they give you that you can just get rid of, So you change into that, and then you go in. The first surprise I got was the chair. It is such a cool chair. You're there for so long. So I was really happy it was comfortable. So the first time you actually lie face down, and they have a support right so that you don't smush your boobs. A lot of people don't care about that. I do. This kind of it was not where it is. It was around the area to hold you in place. And then they had a lower forehead support. Everything was kind of covered in dentist fabrics. They also tape little pieces of plastic around your eyes so that if anything any liquid falls, you will not have anything in your eyes. So when you are put on the chair, there are basically 4 big steps. They put you under. so that they can give you anesthesia all over the bottom part of your scalp. And that would be painful. That's why they put you under. It takes only 5 minutes because they shoot you, and then after that they wake you up right away. Then when you're woken up, they will tape your hair up and down, select sections where your hair is thick and beautiful, and then they're gonna tape, and they have the hair very visible, and then they're gonna move away and tape more and tape more. They have a few layers that they will do that. And then the last part, extraction. So the extraction, you're also not in pain, but you are awake. So it's not a painful procedure. It's just really long. If I were to describe a little bit about the extraction process, so think when you sleep on an arm and you completely block circulation, and your arm is like so weird because when you're touching it with this hand, you're like, this is my arm, and you're like, my arm feels like it is being touched. My brain is like, it is being touched, but you actually don't feel what's going on. That is exactly how it feels. So like when they're sucking it up with the little machine, like you're like, okay, something is there and moving around. You hear the sounds. They're not gross sounds. It's just a machine sound. And you're like, okay, they're working on my head. Great. But you do not feel any kind of like depth of like, it really feels like you're super numb. Like in the beginning, I mentioned that they actually taped pads on the side of your eyes. And that is because if you think about it, they're extracting. So there's a little blood. And they can't let it there. It's not like it's going to be super bleedy. It's just like probably a bubble of blood. But they can't leave it there because it's going to scab and damage your hairline. So what happens, they need to keep like seeing and moving in that area for a long time. So the whole while that the extraction is going on, and during even the implant, there's an assistant or two with saline water bottles, and they're just spraying it all over the area. So basically you're full of salty water the whole time. It feels like, for me, it's really obnoxious. I don't even like to swim in the sea because it feels like gross and sticky. So those who don't mind the sea, this will be nothing for you. It really feels like the sea. It's like you're, you know that feeling on your skin of like sea water, but for 10 hours. I do not like this. What happens is that you have this water continuously flowing down, and the pads stop it from going to your eyes. So there is no pain except the discomfort of having like salty water all over your skin. This whole process takes around 3 hours. And then what happens is they turn you around, and I expected this to hurt, but no, the anesthesia is really solid. It feels like your hair is basically like Playmobil hair. It's just a part that's been put on you. My whole scalp is not me anymore. My body doesn't feel it. There's no pain. So even until the evening, the part that they did the anesthesia even early in the morning, even in the evening, it still didn't hurt. So I don't know how long if it's a thing for it not to last that long, but in my case, that's how it was. I just noticed my friend here. Hi. He's gonna stare at, no, he's not gonna stare. He doesn't want to stare at us. Just go watch the window. Sorry. So alpaca free background, we will keep going. During that time, what happens is there's an hour and a half where the doctor will take a break. And he has around, I remember 4 assistants, and they, during that time, they take all the follicles that were taken out and they will put them in categories. When they turn you around, obviously they adjust the chair again so that you can sit properly. And it's not like a full cushion because obviously this has been worked on. So there's like a bottom of the scalp kind of cushion there. And that's the only place that becomes sore because you're like there for hours. And it's not because of the surgery. It's really just because you're there the whole time. They give you a knee cushion and then a blanket. So you're pretty comfy the whole time. They put you under for another 5 minutes so they can put anesthesia on the part where they're going to transplant the hair. And after that is the best part. You know why? Because at that point you're really, really tired and you're really, really hungry and you're really, really thirsty. At that point is I got and it was a mini sneaker bar. It was the best sneaker bar I've ever had in my life. So I was just like munching on the whole thing. They gave me soy milk and no, it was not soy, it was like a black bean milk. I don't know, it was pretty good. So they give you that, and if you ask for water, they do. So after you had your 2 general anesthesia where they give you the shots, then they can give you food. Then after all that is done, they give you the injection so you don't feel the pain. They give a little time for you to for it to set in, and then they start working. It's about 3 more hours. They injected 2,730 little follicles of hair in my face. Well, on my forehead. While they do the transplant, the doctor talks to you. So I really like that he likes people, because it would have been really boring if it had been quiet. So he's talking the whole time. You can talk about anything you want. Rambling on and on is a thing I did. The first time, fun thing is the first time they actually put me under, they talk to you to make sure that you fall asleep at some point. But I didn't know that. So like they were like, okay, we're gonna inject you, and then they start massaging your arm so that what is in your IV gets in you. And it felt like I had like gray clouds inside my arm going up to my head. I felt kind of dizzy, but like he started talking to me at that time, so I was like, oh, maybe it's just to distract me from whatever pain. And then I talked, and then later I kept talking and talking and talking, and then I was like, wait, I had a heartbeat detector there before when they put me under, and it's off now. I had not realized I had gone asleep and woken up. So in my brain, I was talking, I braced up, I slept, and I kept talking. And I keep imagining this, and people who know me probably find it hilarious, because when I start talking, I really don't stop. So it's just like picturing me like falling asleep, blah 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 blah, blah 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 blah, as if nothing actually happened in between. That's really how I felt it. The only reason I found out that I actually had been under was like I didn't have the heartbeat thing, that little detector thing. And I was like, wait, did I sleep and wake up? I was like, yep. I was like, what just happened? That was like the really what the fuck moment for me more than anything else. When you're done, they do another like saline water like wash out of the whole thing, and then they bring you to a shampoo place. So they shampoo this part, because obviously if saline water has been poured all over your hair and like neck for 10 hours, it's gross. They can't touch this part, and this part they avoid, but they wash all of this part. And they wash your head, obviously with surgical gloves. It makes sense because blood. But that was what was painful for me. Like, because I had been like lying down on that cushion. So that lower part that was not like touched by anything, but like that constant pressure, that was already really sore. And she was like cleaning with her like plastic gloves, and I was like, I hate this. They send you with medicine, and then they explain to you how to wash your hair, which I will cover in my coming videos. There's a lot more about how it healed and how the experience was overall for me. If you like this video, please like and subscribe, and if you have any question, ask me in the comment section. Thank you so much, and I'll see you on the next one.